And here it is. It is here. Roll up, ladies and gentlemen. One man went to mow. Here it is. It is here. Here I am. This one not especially advertised, but if you are around, then just spend the time with us. You know when we're on, you like to hang around. So come hang around with that guy, your laughing man. He is in situation and he has something to say. So come partake in whatever it is that is going to be discussed here. The hyperlink, as you know, an open microphone session. So if you clicked on the hyperlink, then you just appear on the screen. Well, you won't appear immediately. You will be held in a holding bay, and then just as soon as I've read out the talking points, I'll let you onto the screen, and we'll have a conversation around the talking points. It's quite simple and to the point, but quite efficient and potent. It is the interaction that makes the session. So come interact with the session. One man went to mow. The eagle has landed.
Holy, 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 another Savior, Holy, 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 holy,
well, this is Mobiel. This is dedicated to the gallant heroes of the Nigerian Biafra War and IPO families all over the world. I remember the Nigerian Biafran War, in the thickness of the Biafra genocide. Hey, one man revived the vanishing hope to life. Let the great Biafran army to fight, and they were singing out, holy, 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 holy. Another great leader has risen up now. Oh, and he's leading the Biafrans to victory. In your Madika, Yabika Kokwanam no. Hey, Anna Mekele Mazuche Mefo. Manemo, it's an honor having you on board. When I'm singing along, holy, 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 holy. It's another Savior. Another Savior. Holy, 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 another Savior. Another Savior. Holy, 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 well, this is Mobiel. This is dedicated to the gallant heroes of the Nigerian Biafra War and IPO families all over the world. I remember the Nigerian Biafran War, in the thickness of the Biafra genocide. Hey, one man revived the vanishing hope to life. Let the great Biafran army to fight, and they were singing out, holy, 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 it's another Savior. They were singing out, holy, holy, great leader has risen up now. Oh, and he's leading the Biafrans to victory. Inyamadika yabika KWAKWANSO. Hey, anamekele mazuche mefo.
And there you heard it. The Okoros, holy, 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 Nnamdi Kanu is their other savior, dulcet tones from the east. So, holy, 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 Nnamdi Kanu is their other savior. As guys, I bring you this. Failure to pay tithes, criminal, punishable, attracts causes, says Nigerian pastor Ibiyeomi. So there it is right there. The only thing that is being preached in the Nigerian churches is money. That is it. They call it prosperity preaching, but the only person that seems to prosper, as far as I can see, is the person standing on the pulpit. They attack your wallet again. Failure to pay tithes is criminal. Punishable attracts causes, says Nigerian pastor Ibiyeomi. So quite what 419 is in play, we find out 419 is in play yet again, we should add. We find out yet again. We find out just soon. So two real politics now. 2023, KWAKWANSO, Udenwa, Egbinedion, Utomi, JEGA launch new party. So people have been asking for a third force, but is this the third force? Or is this just the recycling of the old, tried and failed politicians? The names now that are headlining this new party, do they inspire confidence in you? That is the question. The names, you're wondering, 2023, KWAKWANSO, Udenwa, Igbenedion, Utomi, JEGA, launch new party. So rinse and repeat, would you say? We'll find out just shortly. We find this out shortly as well. This is a recurring decimal. So will he or won't he do it is the first question. But the most potent question is, will he do it on time? Buhari will sign electoral bill, says FEMI ADESINA. So he will sign the electoral bill, but will it be in time to effect and affect the 2023 presidential election, 2023 general elections? That is the $1 million question, because signing it then and it not impacting or on the upcoming election in 2023 essentially condemns the nation to doom and ruination. So they hint at an ambiguous promise. Buhari will sign electoral bill, says the Afonja of Aso Rock, Femi Adesina. So from that, we land on this. How top officials in Attorney General Malami's Ministry of Justice embezzled 104 million naira, moved cash in bags. So this is just it. The portal for looting in Nigeria is the Abubakar Malami office, and the rate at which they are looting at the Abubakar Malami office, with Abubakar Malami the chief culprit, the rate rather at which they are looting now just in raw cash, in rice bags. They are filling rice bags with cash and just moving it. This is what they are doing, crossing the border to the Niger Republic. So the rate at which they are looting at the Abubakar Malami office, and he being the chief looter, is faster and more damning and more voluminous than Abacha Babangida combined. This is the rate at which they are looting. Forget dollar billionaire, forget Dangote. The richest man in Nigeria by far and a clear distance, and by far and a clear distance, the richest man in Africa, Abubakar Malami. How top officials in Attorney General Malami's Ministry of Justice embezzled 104 million naira, moved cash in bags. So there it is right there. It never changes. That is one decimal that will recur all the way through this administration. So you know what we're pushing for on this channel. We're pushing for the numbers to go up, and that push is to ask you to subscribe and ask you to click on the like button, because that is how the YouTube algorithm responds and propels the channel to attract more audience. So that's just the one contribution that you can make to progress the channel, and it doesn't at all cost you a penny. Just 2 clicks of the button, one on the subscribe button, and more importantly on the like button. So as you go about the click, let's provide some entertainment. We still stay within the eastern quarters, and we put on our dancing shoes to partake in another Python dance.
O meriwo n'izu oniro ya abakare mama daora una pori meri nandi win the war Python dance 1 Python dance 2 na Python dance 3 una pori meri nandi win the war Python dance 1 Python dance 2 na Python dance 3 una pori meri Nande bu onye du aimo o meri wone nizu ngiro ya abakare mamanda ora una pori meri nande win the war Python dance 1 Python dance 2 na Python dance 3 una pori meri nande win the war Python dance 1 Python dance 2 na Python dance 3 una pori meri nande win the war Python dance 1 Python dance 2 na Python dance 3 una pori meri nande win the war Python dance 1 Python dance 2 na Python dance 3 una pori meri nande win the war Python dance 1 Python dance 2 na Python dance 3 una pori meri nande.
And there you have it. In the East, they never give up. Python dance, and Nandi wins the war. Python dance, and Nandi wins the war. So Python dance, and Nandi wins the war. As guys, I bring you this. Failure to pay tithe, criminal, punishable, attracts causes, says Nigerian pastor Ibiyeomi. Pardon me. Pastor David Ibiyeomi of Salvation Ministry has described the failure of Christians to pay tithes by Pastor David Ibiyeomi of Salvation Ministry has described the failure of Christians to pay tithes by Christians as criminal, noting that it is compulsory. The cleric described those who fail to remit their tithes, 10% of their income, to church as criminals, stressing that the offense is punishable. Ibiyeomi disclosed this while speaking at the church's service in Port Harcourt on Sunday, saying that some Christians experience near success syndrome, failure at the edge of breakthrough because of let me start that entirely all over again because it's not flowing the way I would like it to. Pastor David Ibiyeomi of Salvation Ministry has described the failure of Christians to pay tithes as criminal, noting that it is compulsory. The cleric described those who fail to remit their tithes, 10% of their income, to church as criminal, stressing that the offense is punishable. Ibiyeomi disclosed this while speaking at the church's service in Port Harcourt on Sunday, saying that some Christians experience near success syndrome, failure at the edge of breakthrough because of their reluctance to pay tithes. He added that failure to pay tithes attract causes. He said, tax is the government's share, so you don't say, I want to give the government my tax. You say you want to pay tax. That is how tithe is God's own. Leviticus 27:30. God is the owner of the tithe. So what do? You pay. It is only in Nigeria you don't pay tax and they can leave you. In the Western world, it is a big criminal offense. If you don't pay tithes, you are a criminal. Your offense is punishable. Tithe is simply 1/10 of your income. 10% of your income goes to God. Near success syndrome will not happen. If you are experiencing near success syndrome, don't go for deliverance. You are not a tither. Anything that I do, when it is close to manifestation, the thing will just go off. You are not a faithful tither. Many deliverance ministries, they just go for deliverance. This is the problem. They don't pay tithe faithfully, yet they will say anything I want to do. When it is about to click, it just goes off. It is near success syndrome. Correct it from tithing. Don't correct it from 7 days deliverance. Hear this. Tithes must be paid first, otherwise the cost will remain, he added. Nigerian pastors have been subject of heavy criticism due to their extravagant lifestyle amidst poverty in the land. Some of them have private jets, posh cars, and live large at the expense of their poor congregation. So there it is right there. You'll be cursed and punished if you don't pay your tithes, so that the pastor can buy his 10th private jet. So there it is. 2023, KWAKWANSO, Udenwa, Igbenedion, Utomi JEGA launch new party. A new political party to be known as National Movement being convened by the immediate past governor of Kano State, Senator Rabiu Kwakwanso, is to be formally launched today in Abuja. The development, which is a confirmation of a report, is conveyed in a statement by the pro tem secretary, Professor Rafiu Akali, ex-speaker advisor to President on Political Affairs. Okay, let's take this one entirely all over again as well. A political party to be known as the National Movement being convened by the immediate past governor of Kano State, Senator Rabiu Musa Kwakwanso, is to be formally launched today in Abuja. The development, which is a confirmation of a report, is conveyed in a statement by the pro tem secretary, Professor Rafiu Akali, ex-special advisor to the president on political affairs. According to sources, other notable political figures expected at the launch are former governors Achike Udenwa, Imo, Lucky Igbenedion Edo, and Murtala Nyako Adamawa. Also billed to attend the event are former allies of President Mohamed Buhari, MALLAM Buba Galadima, the immediate past Minister of Sport, Solomon Dalong, Dr. Usman Bugaji. So there it is. Professor Pat Utomi and a former deputy governor of Adamawa State. Our findings by correspondence also revealed that the immediate past chairman of the Independent National Electoral Commission, Professor Atihiru Jiga, as well as past and present members of the National Assembly, such as Senator Rafiu Hanga, Abdulrahman Railway, will all be part of the event. Akali, in the one-page letter of invitation to invitees on Monday, said the event will provide an opportunity for the promoters to outline the aims and objectives, as well as the group's interim leader to the public. So there you have it right there. The third force that you've always wanted is being presented by old and recycled politicians. So everything changes but remains the same, the narrative of the Nigerian space. Everything changes but remains the same. As a guys, I bring you this. Buhari will sign electoral bill, says FEMI ADESINA. So this is now an ongoing spat within the Nigerian space. Special Advisor to the President on Media and Publicity, Mr. FEMI ADESINA, has said President Muhammad Buhari will sign the Electoral Act Amendment Bill. ADESINA made this known on Tuesday during an interview on Sunrise Daily, a channel's television program. He said, it could be today, it could be tomorrow, it could be any time, but within the 30 days. It could be signed today, it could be signed tomorrow, in a matter of hours, not days. Hours could be 24 hours, it could be 48 hours, not days or weeks. He said the bill was sent to the president nearly a month after the assembly had passed it. Additional, whilst defending his principle, criticized those accusing Buhari of delaying the signing of the bill. He said the president's action was still within the requirements of the constitution. You know, before the president put pen to paper on any legislation, particularly this one that has to do with our electoral fortunes, it has to be looked at and looked at. He has to buy opinions from different stakeholders, and haven't been satisfied that the necessary due diligence has been done and he will not be making any error, then he will sign it. And I tell you that Nigerians will get to hear about this bill in hours. The president had initially withheld assent to the Electoral Bill 2021 transmitted to him on the 19th of November 2021 to allow each political party determine its mode of selecting candidates for election through options of direct, indirect, and consensus, amongst other reasons. This was amended by the National Assembly and retransmitted to the president for assent. So there it is right there. He's promising a lot without actually saying that much. So there it is right there. Everything just ambiguous and vague. You know, when is the guy signing the damn thing? It's the question. Sign this damn thing. Mala. How top officials in the Attorney General Malami's Ministry of Justice embezzled 104 million naira, moved cash in bag. Uh, a petition to the Independent Corrupt Practice and Other Related Offences Commission, ICPC, has called for a probe into over 104 million naira, which is missing from the Office of the Attorney General and Minister of Justice Abubakar Malami. The petition, started by the Integrity and Transparency Watch, a Nigerian non-profit organization and society watchdog, urged the ICPC to investigate and prosecute the Director of Finance and Accounts in the Ministry of Justice, Joshua Luka Kidmi, who is in grade level 17, and one Abu Danjuma, who also works in the AGF's office. The petition, dated February the 15th, 2022, was addressed to the ICPC chairman, Bolaji Owosonoye, by Shaibu Sodingi, the national coordinator and head of ITW's investigation department. According to the petition obtained by correspondence, the duo, within 2 months, November to December 2021, allegedly embezzled 104 million naira through the private account of Danjuma, and he goes on to give the account number in UBA and Access Bank. Afterwards, the junior officer, Danjuma, reportedly withdrew the money from his bank account and handed it over to Kadmi in a bag. The ITW noted that the actions of the two officers are in breach of the General Regulation Act, stressing that they expended government's resources without due process and violated stipulated rules, particularly with reference to Section 12 and 19 of the Corrupt Practices and Other Related Offences Act 2000, and punishable under relevant sections of the same act. The group further stated that both Kadmi and Abu should be made to step aside to allow for a thorough investigation into the issue. The statement reads, established in 2013, the Integrity and Transparency Watch is a Nigerian non-profit with a mission to promote transparency and accountability in public and private sector, in supporting the efforts in developing a transparency integrity index for federal ministries, departments, and agencies in Nigeria. As an independent civil society group and lead researchers, we have unraveled the scam following months of the group's diligent research investigation of the issue, which became a national embarrassment. To ensure justice is done to the society, which norms have been violated by reckless and corruption-driven habits of the Director of Finance and Accounts in the Ministry of Justice, Mr. Joshua Luka Kadmi of grade level 17, and one Mr. Abu Danjuma at grade level 9. The Integrity Watch, an economic and administration watchdog for the society, we work to promote good governance and quality leadership at the strata of public service. We wish to express our displeasure over the constant breach of General Regulation Act by leads of a government agency, reckless and fraudulent expending of our common patrimony for personal enrichment. It is highly pitiable and equally worrisome to note that the Director of Finance and Account, Federal Ministry of Justice, Mr. Joshua Kadmi, and in connivance with Mr. Abu Danjuma, continues to expend government resources without due process and total disregard to financial laws laid down by the government to guide her financial operations, which actions continue to cast doubt on the current administration on whether the government is really ready to fight corruption in Nigeria if the ministry that is supposed to uphold the law 100% are now seen breaching Financial Regulation Act. It will mean a total loss of hope for the current administration to fight corruption. In the month of November to December 2021, the Director of Finance, Mr. Joshua Lukman Kadmi, and Mr. Abu Danjuma frittered away millions of naira through a private account of Abu Danjuma, a staff member of the Ministry of Justice, monies into Abu Danjuma UBA account and access account, totaling 104,842,800 naira. Repeatedly for the months of November and December towards the end of the year, where MDAs are asked to return unspent funds to the government coffers. The monies paid into private account of Abu Danjuma, which was withdrawn and handed over to Mr. Lukman through a Ghana Must Go bag on behalf of the Ministry of Justice, breached Financial Regulation Act 713, which stated that personal money shall in no circumstances be paid into government account, nor shall any public money be paid into private account. An officer who pays public money into private account is deemed to have done so with fraudulent intentions. And also the financial circular blah 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 states that all accounting officers and officers controlling expenditure are to ensure that all local procurement of stores and services costing above 200,000 shall be made through the award of contract. We request ICPC to investigate and prosecute Mr. Joshua Lukman Kadmi and Abu Danjuma in violation of Section 12 and 19 of the Corrupt Practices and Other Related Offences Act 2000 and punishable under relevant section of the same act, that Mr. Joshua and Abu, having contravened the Financial Act, Corrupt Practices and Other Related Offences, at Section 102 of Criminal Code, should, as a matter of urgency, step aside from the ministry immediately to give room for an unfettered investigation of commission with compliance with the Office of the Accountant General of the Federation, and return the sum of 104,842,800 naira into the government coffers pending the conclusion of the investigation into the financial crime. To this end, we request an immediate investigation. To this end, we request an immediate investigation into the rot in the Ministry of Justice on how Mr. Joshua Lukman Kadmi and Mr. Abu Danjama's fraudulent activities in the Ministry of Justice, which is grave to the nation's economy at this time of scarcer resources. Attached documents obtained with help of Freedom of Information Act through a watchdog member in CBN, Federal Ministry of Finance and Accountant General of the Federation's Office, justifies our demand for immediate action on fraudulent staff in Attorney General of the Federation's Office. According to the ITW, the payment made to Danjama's account are as follows. In December 1, 2021, 4,700,000 was reportedly paid, and it goes on to give details and details. So I'm not going to go through all of that. Okay, so the rest then goes to chart just how the money was continuously made just within 2 months. 104,000, nearly 105,000. So there it is right there. Charlie Boy, we see you. And who else do we see? The might, that is Ajanle Koko. We see you. So good to see you, gentlemen. So Charlie Boy, let's come to you first because you're always insisting on going first. So what are you then making then of this handover feast looting? This is what usually happens within the Nigerian parastatals. When it comes to the end of a financial year, and when their overspill are meant to be returned to the federal government, they just start to loot the money. They start to loot the money so that they are not. I think it is only Fashola in the history of Nigeria that has ever really returned any money back to the Nigerian coffers that is unspent. So the looting continues, but then at the office of the Ministry of Justice. What are you making of that?
That's why I think Nigeria should make a law that any government or president that's looting to go to jail. They should make a law. There's no way.
No. The law is there. They just don't adhere to it. There is a law. They don't say you loot and you get away with it. The law is there.
The other one they do, they don't show what they use the money for, or the looting. They don't show.
They just take it to Saudi Arabia, isn't it? And so that the Arabs can mock them. They take it to Dubai to make fools of themselves.
Like nothing's wrong with corruption, and corruption happens everywhere. It's just that Nigeria corruption, they don't show the money they use it for, compared to like other countries. They're corrupt, but they use the money for something. You know what I mean, one man?
Yes, but the thing is, they are now cashing it because they know the corruption will never stop in Nigeria, Charles, because as soon as you block one corruption portal, they find another loophole. So they know now that everything is being digitally watched by the EFCC and ICPC. So now they are now cashing the money. Do you understand?
Yeah.
So they don't even mind being caught because they know if they are caught, they only have to negotiate their way out of it. So they're now cashing it in raw cash and then taking it to MALLAM down the road just to buy dollars. That is one of the reasons why the Nigerian currency is just so depreciated and devalued. Because the places are washed with naira chasing the dollars, corrupt illicit money chasing the dollars. So they're cashing it, putting it in Ghana Must Go bags, taking it to Bureau de Change, Mallam Musa Bureau de Change, and he's converting it to dollars for them.
I don't know why those foreign countries don't take them to jail when they steal money.
No, they've done that in the past, but it's not really their responsibility. If you want to loot yourself to the ground, then, knock yourself out.
Because most most normal people in Nigeria don't have that much money they have. Half of the people in Nigeria live less than $1 a day, and those people, only 1% of Nigeria live. Half of the rich people in Nigeria, most of the rich people, is the money real? They will say no, they are corrupt money. No rich people have a legal money in Nigeria. None of them do.
No,
They
they
guys
have.
don't only co-op to get where. That's the only way. As you see all these young kids in Nigeria, they want to be co-op. I don't blame them because it's a system.
It's the system. It is indeed the system. So it's the system, and the system is corrupt, Charles. Failure to pay tithe is criminal, punishable, attract courses. This is one of the lead pastors in Nigeria, David Ibiyeomi, his name is. So they loot you at the ministry and they loot you in the churches. So this tithe and offering seems to be the singular thing above all else that the Nigerian churches pray about. They spend a good 2 hours preaching tithe and offering, and then 20 minutes preaching for your salvation.
You
So,
see, the issue
yeah.
in Nigeria care more about building a church. In Nigeria, they build a big church for no reason. They can't even build a simple infrastructure. Just build a big church. We care more about church than a human being. And you could pay tithe, but you don't have to force people to pay tithe. You say in a nice way, say, okay, you see, a pastor will say, hey, if you have money, you could pay tithe. If you don't, it's not your will. This is a nice way. You can't just force people to pay tithe. You know the pastor get rich. I said, why are the pastors in Nigeria rich? Because they force people to trick people. Say, hey, you pay the tithe. Well, they'll be flying private jet and you're a pastor. You shouldn't even fly a private jet if you're a pastor. Pastors is basically a business in Nigeria.
All right. Thank you, Charles. So, Charles, just briefly, I'm not sure if you have any thoughts on this. KWAKWANSO, Odenwa, Igbenedion, Utomi, JEGA. So, a new party being formed now, but the old and traditional names are forming the party. What are you making then of this new party?
Forming a new party in Nigeria is pointless. APC and PDP will always be the main party. Nothing can happen. It's pointless. It's better to form a party like if you want for governor, like Africa for governor is better. But for president, it's pointless.
All right. Thank you, Charles. So, Charles, let's go on to Ajan Lekoko and sound his opinions. And let's start him off where you stopped off. KWAKWANSO Udenwa, Igbenedion Utome JEGA. So, a new party, you've been asking for a third force. So now you have another party, but is it the third force that you're after, Ajan Lekoko? You asked for it, and they're giving it to you.
Good morning, one man. This is not the third force that people are asking for. This, to me, is a third fraud. Third fraud. So this is third fraud. Look at the people that are there.
Look at that. KWAKWANSO. This is the solution, Abi. This is the rescue we are looking for, Igbenedion and KWAKWANSO.
Yeah. So they could not have their way anymore in that PDP or APC where they belong. They're trying to form another party where they can, become power
their own Lord and Master.
Their own Lord and Master there. So this is the third fraud. It's not. I don't see it as a third force for the people. So,
what achievements can that sort of space have? Because that's a national space, not a state space. All those people, they are national players. But what impact can they have on national politics?
I don't really know. But if they come from different states like that, they could pool resources together to challenge to become a national party as well. They were able to get old politicians like them. They're able to get them across all the states of the federation. Yeah, they will emerge as a third fraud that they are talking about. So, but these people are not. They are not the one that can save that nation. They are not. We need Utomi. Is only name among them.
He seems to lend his name to virtually just anything, though, part Utomi. Because I know he's lending his name to Soludo. He's now lending his name to these people. Is he spreading himself a little bit too thin? Is this prostitution?
I think he's just looking for another, just desperately looking for another party where he can make an impact, because he was one of the founder of APC, and politicians being what they are, they scheme him out, they squeeze him. Even in the state, they didn't even allow him to get a form to contest for the position of governorship of the state. So
remind me if he has ever held any political office of significance, Patutomi.
Oh,
has
yes,
he been a minister or something?
Yeah, he was a minister during the during Shagari time. I think he was young. He was in the 20s then, and he was a minister. I think he was in economic, if I can remember, and Shuba Okadigbo as well. Late Shuba Okadigbo was a young minister then. So he was a young minister back then. So, but he couldn't find way in this presently in the present political arrangement we have in Nigeria, in PDP and AD. So I think he's looking for another party, desperately looking for another party where he can show his own impact and possibly emerge as one of
Have we lost you, Ajan Lekoko? I think we lost Ajan Lekoko. So yeah, Ajan Lekoko was speaking on Pat Utomi, who I think his politics goes as far back as the Shagari era, but then he's this is just the thing that I've noticed about once they've tasted just the juice and the luster of power, they then continue to chase it and chase it, because power in Nigeria is almost like a god-like manifestation. So this is what these people are. There's somebody like Pato Tomi now, it's already spent as a political force, but will he accept that? No. Ajele Koko, are you back with us? You were talking about Utomi.
Oh yeah. Yes, Utomi, he played a good role, although he didn't stay too long, because I think it was in the second term of BUHARI, Shagari, that he was made a minister, if I can remember very well. Maybe he was a minister or advisor to the president, but I cannot remember vividly. I might be wrong to say he's a minister, but I remember that he held a very important position as a young man then in Shagari government. So it didn't stay too long before the military BUHARI came and kicked them out of power. But since then, I think he has devoted his he concentrated more on his career as an academia. So, but he tried to participate during the APC.
Yeah, I think he tried for Delta State once.
He was strangulated by politicians. And, let's see how this is going to work out for him. We just have to keep, but one of those that I see in his party, in that party that the name I can reckon with is Professor JEGA. But
was it not the one that gave us Baba Buhari? JEGA gave us Buhari now.
JEGA gave us Buhari. So, but let's wait and see.
The only politician there is really KWAKWANSO. The rest of them, Igbenedion. Who even knows Igbenedion anymore in Edo State? Never mind national politics. And JEGA, like you said, an academic. Utomi, an academic. Udenwa, I never even knew he existed. And so it's just KWAKWANSO now. KWAKWANSO just gathering boys to make noise.
Yeah. So, but let's wait and see. Maybe they will attract technocrats. If a lot of technocrats come into them, they could be a party that
We
will
do
attract.
need a third party, though. We need a third party just for the balancing of, because there's a whole political ideology and political space in Nigeria that is not catered for by the traditional APC PDP space, who are just corrupt politicians. So there has to be some sort of counterbalance political party movement that is of a national reach, that people can gravitate to, just so that we have a vehicle to fight these people. So we do need a third party, but certainly not these, not these elements.
Hold on one man.
Oh, okay. So yeah, as I was saying, we need that third party space, because a lot of our voices are at odds with traditional politics. Our voices on this platform and all over social media is at odds with the traditional party structures that we have in Nigeria. We are anti-APC, we are anti-PDP. But then where is the vehicle then that we can use to effectively, otherwise we'll just be like talking, we'll just be head banking on social media all the time. So where's that vehicle? That vehicle is certainly not Shure or AAC, because that's just a clown something, and it's not anything to do with Mogalu. Mogalu is just some Switzerland guy that's just there to to say economic. So we need something proper and structured, but it's not these people. So how do we occupy space that has potency in politics? That's the third force we're talking about, but certainly not KWAKWANSO and certainly not Igbenedion. Ajale
Yeah.
Koko, are you back with us here?
Yes. See, if they can work really hard to attract technocrats, a well-known technocrat across the country into their party, yes, they will attract people's to join their party, because people are desperately looking for a third force, but they want a third force that are not this corrupt politician that we know. So we need technocrat, people of accomplishment in their different career that we know across. Let them come out.
If Akinwumi Adesina joins that party, if Madam Ngozi joins that party, Okonji Wela, if she joins that party, then we are starting to take shape with the sort of because that is just, they are still somewhat a bit funny, but they are not. We can do, that's the sort of language we want. Not Tinubu or Buhari or Atiku. So we can have Tinubu and Buhari and Atiku, all of them in APC, PDP, and then this vehicle now where we can all board to then try and rescue the country from them, but not KWAKWANSO now. KWAKWANSO is, he didn't get opportunity now. That's why he's going to form his own. If they gave him a PDP ticket, will he form anything?
Yeah. So we need technocrats, we need people of great accomplishment, we need disciplinarian academia, we need them into that third force. People, like what do you call this, Daily Pharaoh team, all of them. Let us just see them. Let them join, let them say, okay, we want to rescue this country. We cannot be part of these people. This is what I've been telling you, one man. You cannot align with this criminal. This alignment I'm talking, I'm a Shure man. But what I stand for is that, Shure cannot align with this criminal.
Yes,
any party, anybody, any serious party must not align with them, with any one of these APC or PDP. You cannot work with them.
Ajale Koko, you remember when Ayo was here and he was saying if he had the choice, we were presenting him with a choice, and he said he would have to hold his nose and pick some guy. So that's just where we are now. We have to hold our nose to prevent this.
Is that he want to hold the nose to pick Saraki? If he want to hold any
Yes.
one of these politicians,
So that's
anyone
where
to
we are
support
now.
among them. So
That's where we are. It's a
yeah,
hold your nose and pick one now, because
yeah,
these are all smelly people. But there's nobody that doesn't smell available. So we have to hold our nose and pick a smelly guy now.
yeah. So, but what they need to do, the organizer of this party told me, particularly, should get in touch with all of his friends he knows across the federation that are not members of this criminal party.
But
But
they have to be mindful that it's not too much of an alluta party. They don't want to get all these socialist sort of oriented so they have to have an equibalance of people that are Patotomi, Showore type people, that are Farotemi. So they are so hardcore, but then they have to have an equibalance. Then people like middle of the road, like Shehu Sani, and people even like KWAKWANSO, that are even money people, but they're not as dirty as. So there has to be a rich enough of a mix so that it presents just the wholesomeness, but it's not as extreme as Buhari, Tinubu, and Atiku, who are just, gangsters.
You see, I don't mind Aluta joining those parties.
But you want it to be just overly Aluta, because when if it turns into like a Showore thing, then people will just bail out now.
No, it's not gonna. No, you see,
very wearing.
Look, the Aluta people will know what they stand for. They stand for good governance. So if they are seeing a party,
do they stand for good governance or an egalitarian society? Showore is a socialist, and socialism is a defeated philosophy. It's a defeated ideology. Showore is a socialist now. He wants everything to go to the people. Where has that ever worked? Even Russia has abandoned that.
Well, your Liberal Party too, in Libya, are they not, their ideology not aligned with socialist ideology?
And when have they ever held power? They've never held anything now.
They will come back one day. It's our Democratic Party that is governing Nigeria, America now. Do they not have some of their ideology that align with socialist ideology?
Yes, but that's why I'm saying that there has to be a balance. We have to have an element of that aluta to keep the party honest, to continue to fight with the money people. And that is that fight between aluta and the money that will strike the right balance. But you can't have it overly aluta, that power to the people. When have the people don't have a brain to handle power, so power should never be with the people. It is the elites that must rule the people. That is the way of life.
No, it is. Look, when the elite are more powerful, then they will trample on the right of the people and possibly enslave the people. So
that is where you have to have a Luther to balance them off.
That's what I'm saying. So if we don't have a Luther in the party, the party must definitely be a progressive party, a party that accommodates everybody. We bring in socialist ideology, but not to the extreme. Bring in conservative ideology, bring in just bring everything, just like a centrist party, a party that will accommodate all kind of ideology that, all in an effort, to govern and, deliver, good governance and, better the life of the people in their country. It mustn't be, socialist, totally social. No, that's not going to work in Nigeria. It's not going to work. So, what's the name of this man? Party told me, particularly that we know that is a technocrat, should reach out to other technocrats that we know, like what's the name of this popular lawyer too?
Falana.
This Igbo man that handled that hospital.
Ozokome.
Not Ozokome. this other man. I can't remember his name now, but he's a popular attorney in Nigeria too. I can't remember his name. Well,
is there a popular Igbo attorney?
Yeah, he's a popular Igbo attorney.
No, the Igbos are not lawyers now; they are business people.
No. This one is an Igbo man, and he was part of June 12 struggle as well. What is his name? I can't just remember his name now. But definitely, they should reach out to a lot of technocrats, professors, and all of them. Let us just see those personalities, and let us that are educated people know that yes, this is the time for everybody to jump into this political arrangement in the country and make our impact. And bankers, well-known bankers, let them come in. You understand what I'm saying? This is what they need, just to push out this criminal that we have in the position of government. So this is what we need: bankers of note, accomplished bankers and industrialists. Let us just see them. Let them distinguish themselves. Let them show that they are not part of this failure two parties that we've been having. Let us make sure that okay, we are a new force. We want to chart a new path for the progress of the country. So maybe people will jump into the party, and then together we will vote out these people. So, but if they don't do that, and we can only see faces like KWAKWANSO and all those disgruntled politicians here and there into it, they will what do you call it? APC and PDP we carry out propaganda against them and destroy the image of that of the party. So that is what I see there. They have to wear they must wear the faces of technocrats and people of note in their various industry, bankers, insurance, and all the rest of them. We want to see them in that new force, so that middle class Nigerians can join hand with them and then vote out these people.
All right, thank you, Ajanle Koko. So, Ajanle Koko, the Nigerian person is condemned to perpetual doom and ruination. The Nigerian person is condemned to perpetual doom and ruination. Nowhere to run, and there is no rescue. The only rescue, Ajanle Koko, for the Nigerian person is you and I, because there's no other rescue for the Nigerian person. So he gets vested upon by the political space, and he runs to church. Failure to pay tithe is criminal. Punishable attracts curses, says Nigerian pastor Ibiyeomi. So there's no time that we go to the Nigerian church space and the conversation is not about money. You think that the Bible is a book on economics, how to get rich and get rich quickly, because all they ever talk about is how to assault your wallet. So what this guy is saying, he has come up with a concept actually, because they know how to target you and there is no escape. This is what this guy has said. He came up with a syndrome, near success syndrome or something. In instances when somebody nearly attains something and they don't quite attain it. So he's describing that as near success syndrome. And when you attempt something and you don't quite reach it, which happens in instances in life, this guy is attributing that to you not paying tithes. So anytime then that you try but you don't quite succeed, he's now putting that idea in your head that is because you are not giving him 10% of your income. Nowhere to run. The Nigerian person is doomed. Nowhere to run. Ajanle Koko.
You see, I don't mind pastors calling on the congregation to pay tithe. But for pastor to intimidate, people and kind of use all this trick of bullying people, because I see it as intimidation and bullying. When you are telling them, if you don't do it, you won't have progress. If you don't do it, things are not going to be better for you in life. If you don't pay tithe, you are not going to achieve anything in life. That is intimidation, and that is bullying. You're bullying people. This must be stopped. This is where the government in Nigeria have to come in and regulate these religious practices. There are certain things that there are certain, religious practices that the government needs to come in and let them know that the implication of it and the effect of their wrong religious practices in the life of the people. So government.
What do you think is going on in the churches in Nigeria? Because I'm asking the congregation, a lot of them, they are hand to mouth existence, and their interaction with the church is not really to worship God, but to look for a breakthrough for their circumstances in life. A lot of them go to all of these churches and they lay their hands on them and they ask them to part with money. But then they see the lifestyle that the pastors live. They see the life that they live. They go to these churches, but they don't get any better. They get worse. But those churches continue to park and park. What is going on there? This is fraud, isn't it? Really, what is happening in a good 90% of the Niger. Take Suleiman, for instance, apostle. Who calls him? Who appointed him as an apostle once? And then look at the antecedent of this guy. He sleeps with virtually every girl in that church. He takes all of their money. He comes up with just this ludicrous something that somebody went into the toilet and found himself in France and is telling them to put their phone up, that money will come in, you know, and they go there in droves and droves. What is going on there? Are they capturing them via some spirit? What is going on? It's a real puzzlement space, the Nigerian church, Ajanle Koko.
You see, poverty in the society is not a good thing. When you have people that are extremely poor and look hopeless, sometimes they want to go to church for rescue, spiritual rescue. So this is where government have to play a role. When government does not have a program like assistance program for the people, when people loses their job, there should be program by the government, to assist them and to help them out of poverty. When you don't see that, this religious bullying and intimidation will not stop. It's not going to stop. So, and we have to consider another factor that all these religious leaders are friends to all these politicians as well, that ought to take action against them. So everything is compromised. The people in power have compromised their integrity, and they cannot act against pastors or this imam, because they always go to them too for prayer and some kind of sacrifice. And what do you need before they even contest for election? So when you see people that pray for you and pray for you and that you will win election and you eventually win election, would you go after that person to say, "Oh, I'm going to stop you from practicing your dubious or 419 religious practice"? They won't do it. So that is the problem.
Are you religious yourself? Because I go to church, but I go to church. In fact, I'm a functionary within my church. I do the Sunday school and I also do the usher. But I go to church always with my eyes open. I pay what I'm intent on paying. Nobody is going to sweat me or intimidate me out of money. And I go to church essentially just to be amongst people like me because of where I live. Where I live is just a predominantly white area, so just to have that interaction just with like-minded people, just for the social interaction, a lot of it, and a lot of it, of course, to fellowship and worship as well. But you have to be clever in the way you interact with religion because it's a tool for manipulation and they're there to exploit you in a lot of instances.
Yeah, you just mentioned in that tool for manipulation and exploitation. So this is what they are using against our people. They manipulate them with lies, with what does not even exist in the Bible, or maybe sometimes they misinterpret the Bible to them. And, they control their mind, and they will continue to manipulate them forever. So, but for a person like me, I'm a moderate person. I'm not extreme religious man, and I'm not against religion. So, but the religion I practice, there are some things that I don't like in some of the practices that are questionable. So, and I cannot be intimidated or bully or forced to do what I don't want to do. Because I open my mind and my senses. I'm a very objective person. So most of our people, most of them cannot really take a decision on their own. And that is why you see this religious leader getting away with all these 419 practices. And if we have population, people that can really see things in their own way and doesn't give in for manipulation, yes, they won't have these churches. These churches will not be there to bully anybody. But our people, even many that are even educated, they're giving up their life. They see the pastor as God. They look at them as God, and that is the problem. So some of them they uses juju, to capture people's mind and then manipulate people as well. So that's some of the things they use. But one man is just government has a role to play, a big role to play in stopping these people from manipulating our people and intimidating and bullying and suppressing their mind. Their
Have you
brain.
ever wondered why they are not especially religious in the West? Why do you think they are fervently religious in Africa, but not especially religious in the West, which is where that most of the religions came from? Most of the popular religions in Africa, anyway, they are not indigenous to the space. But in the Middle East, yeah, they're still holding on to their religion. But in the West, where they brought Christianity to Africa, they are not especially because the churches, especially in Europe, they are being converted to loft apartments now and restaurants. because nobody's turning up. The average person that goes to church in the UK, there's like 80 something, and the churches, they're either being handed over to Africans, especially Nigerians, or being handed over to property developers to turn into restaurants and whatnot. So why is it that the people that brought the religion are now starting to move away from it?
Well, because over the time, the Western world, the people in the Western world are well-enlightened people, well-educated people. They were taught in their school critical thinking. They are taught in their school to be objective. They are taught in their school to be independent-minded people. So all these things, help the growing population to determine what they want to do in life. And people cannot determine for them. You understand what I'm saying? If you have a child now, at the date of 18, he will be telling you what he want to become, what he want to do, how he want to pursue his life. So this is the way that the educational system, brought up the children. So they give them that independent-minded capability. So, and that is what
do you think they
to...
don't need religion anymore in the West? Do you think this is what we're saying, that they don't need religion anymore in the West?
No, it's not that they don't need religion, but
what purpose do you
West,
think religion serves in people's lives? What purpose do you think religion serves in people's lives?
According to what they let us know, is for spiritualism and for eternity. That if you follow all the rules and all the tenets in the Bible and Islam and Quran, yes, you will, after that, you will go to heaven. You understand what I'm saying? Everybody wants to go to heaven. You don't want to go to hell. But a lot of educated people have, that have job. They are not. I mean, they
see,
have their profession.
Ajanle Koko, my theory is that the Western world, they've advanced beyond what religion provides, for. This is why I think they are abandoning religion. Because the Western world now, if we use the African space, say, as a template, what we use religion for? We use religion in Africa to try and to find solutions to problems that we have that are beyond our capacity. Those problems, they are economic, they are health, and they are around relationships. It's just mainly around those three things: economics, health, and relationships. All of them interlinked. So if you look at the Western world, for instance, they have they've established a baseline beyond which people cannot drop. So if you are dropped to a certain point, the social security system will pick you up and you will not fall below that. So you would not starve and you would not be homeless. So they've insulated that. They've grown their economy enough to provide sufficient enough of a job. So you have an opportunity for employment. You have an opportunity for education. You have an opportunity for travel. You have an opportunity for expansion. And there's a baseline that insulates you. So what do you need? You don't need religion to fill in any gaps. But in Africa, they have nothing. So they look to religion for things that they should solve practically.
To save their life.
Yes.
Yes, you see, you are right, one man. That is why I said government earlier. That's why I said earlier that government has important role to play. Like you said now, if we have good education, medical services that function well, economy that runs well, that, create jobs and opportunity, and right inside the society, outside the church, you can find solution to your problem. It's either you have health problem, you go to hospital, you are taken care of. You don't need to go to any church to go and beg for prayer.
You know the event that gets filled in church the most is the deliverance service. Do you know that? Deliverance service. When they are having deliverance service, that is when the churches are packed the most. So that is when you bring your problem for somebody to lay his hands on you for solutions. So there it is. It's just and what they don't need that in the West now. So why would they go to church? They just
You're right. So the government have big role to play. If you run into economic problem or financial problem, there are financial assistance for you in the system. So you don't need to go to church to go and pray for any assistance. Everything is readily available within the system. So a lot of people will not listen to these liars that we have in the church. So it's just unfortunate, one man that
and the legal system, Ajale Koko, it insulates you as well. If somebody is attacking you for 10% of your salary, just go to your local police station and that person will be arrested promptly. They're harassing you, trying to defraud you. They will jail them. So they don't have. It's just they have advanced. That's just the thing.
That's right. You're right.
But they don't need religion anymore.
So we want to go to church for everything, for economic solution to our economic problem, our financial problem, our everything is the church. So it's and the particular sect of the church that does this is the Pentecostal.
Yes.
It was when these people came.
Pastorprenuers, I call them pastorprenuers.
It was when these people came that we started seeing all these 10% tithe and threatening of people and intimidating of people, bullying of people over 10%.
Jesus Christ PLC.
Yes.
So in the name of the Lord Limited.
It was when they came, when we were growing up. It wasn't like this. We will walk into church easily. We will pray.
The service was prompt earlier when we were younger. The service was, they tell you to turn up at 12 to 2. 12 o'clock, the service starts, whether you're there or not. 2 o'clock, the service ends, whether you are ready to go or not. And then they will only put like those things that you hold by hand, and you dip your hand in and put in whatever it is your intent. Because the church is a charity. And it's dependent on your gift to run. We understand that. Yes. But these guys are not charities now. They are business organizations. And they use aggressive marketing, attacking that you'll be cost if you don't pay 10% of your salary. The government takes their own percentage. You take another 10%. What is left for the person to spend that earns the money?
So we go to the church, we go to Catholic, Anglican. It wasn't like that when we were growing up. It was where Pentecostal came in the 80s. That was when we started.
Who do you bring from that for that? Is that guy from Edo, isn't it? What's that guy from Edo that opened up that space? There's one Edo guy. He opened up.
I know who you're talking about.
He opened up that money church business.
Yeah. So, but government have a big role to play to stop this intimidation from this 10% scam. Yeah.
Idahosa, yes, Idahosa.
Somebody Idahosa. So, but what do we have in Nigeria? Who are the people in government? Are they not palliate with these churches?
When the vice president is a pastor or so called.
These churches that are even praying for them to remain in power and continue to molest us, continue to intimidate, harass, and kill us. All these churches are praying for all these leaders. They pray for them. They have their friends, so they cannot act. They cannot do anything until we, the people, find a way of voting these people out. That is when we can start solving our problem.
All right, let's give the last word to Fela Kuti. Pope na enjoyment. Imam na gbaladun. He said that 30 years. It's still the same.
No,
That guy is
his
a
brother, I
prophet.
think 40 years ago, in the 80s.
Pope na gbaladun. Imam na enjoy. More now than ever before.
More than never before. And it wasn't even happening then. When he was thinking it. He was just using the Catholic Church and all this, the way they dress fine. They are in their white gown and they live in a very good house. He was just saying, look at you people. We are going to church. What is the church got to do in your life? Just go and look for work. Go and work and don't go there. Go and worship your African God.
do you know what the problem is, Ajani Koko? This is the problem right there. When I say some people, they are beyond redemption, a lot of people. But the guy, an example of what I mean. This wrong. Is Adewale Olusegun. He says you are very wrong. Nobody is intimidating anybody. It is not by force. It is between you and God. And it's even, and then he tails off there. So that is what he is saying, but this is what our prophet Ibiyeomi or Pastor Ibiyeomi is saying. Failure to pay tithes is criminal, punishable, attracts curses, but it is not by force. If it's by force, they will come and...
How does that statement sound to you, Adewale?
But it's not by force. So. Look at it. But this is why I say that's a person, that one is beyond redemption. What a low, look at that. You have been used to Adewale.
Adewale, don't give it to those people. I believe you are smarter than them.
No, Adewale is gone. Sorry, boy, I know I'm not cursing you, but I think I said you boss over yet. Look at that guy. Funny guy. So Ajale Koko, back to real politics. Buhari and the electoral bill. Adesina insists that is going to sign it, but when?
Well, let us wait until when he sign it. We know that if he failed to sign it as at by the end of the month, I guess, that means it won't take effect because it has to be a year apart before the election, for that law to take effect. If it's not a year apart before the presidential election, the bill will not be validated. So let us just wait for the Mr. President, Mr. What did they call him? Mr. Integrity. Let us see what he's going to do this time, because the last one that he promised to sign immediately he won the election, he failed to sign it before his re-election. And look at that time, for 8 years, for 7 years he has been in government, he couldn't sign the electoral bill. What does that tell you? It does that not tell you that he have an ulterior motive? So, but everything shall come open. Let's wait for them and see what they are going to do. If they don't do it, if they doesn't sign it, we should just conclude that this man is ready to rig election, and not just to rig it, but to rig it massively. Rig it massively and, retain APC in power in 2023 so that they can cover them up, cover all their shady deeds and protect their misgovernance for 8 years. That is it.
All right, thank you, Ajale Koko. The Nigerian, like I said, you just feel so sad for the Nigerian person.
7 years.
What just is in the midst of
they can sign. But they can approve loans. After loans, they can approve
quick now. That one quick.
Work quick. But the electoral bill, for us to have a good democratic system, we cannot. It can't be signed. So. Look at when
it comes to signing loans, they function like a German precision machine. when it comes to signing something, because the assembly and the presidency, the executive, they work just so seamlessly. like some German precision machine when it comes to signing loans.
The
But when
signing
it
loan.
comes to signing something for the people, it's like
No.
some Abakaliki made something. It just falls apart very quickly, you know. So that's just the Nigerian space. But very quickly on this, Abubakar Malami, the looting continues. Now they are, you know, when it comes to the end of a financial year, whatever is unspent in your budget, you're meant to return it to the treasury.
Yeah.
I think Fashola stands alone as the only person that has ever really done that. But
Did
what
he do that as a minister?
He did that as a minister. I think that story was about 2-3 years ago, something like that.
Oh, okay.
They celebrated it so much. But what usually happens is they save up all of this money and then they just loot it. The money just, because nobody really asks any questions. There's no auditing of anything. But what they are now doing, because they have digitalized so much the Nigerian financial space, and the EFCC, they have direct access to the financial space to monitor what is going on. So what they are now doing is that they are now sending monies from government departments into private accounts and sending Usman to the bank to go and cash it in Ghana must go bags and hand it over to Danladi. This is the story. 104 million naira cashed between November and December 2021, when the financial year was coming to an end. Abubakar Malami again.
Well, it is, we have to commend the courage of those people that wrote this petition. If our EFCC is really working well or active in their responsibility, they need to pick it up. Every petition must not be brushed aside. They have to look into it and, you know, and swing into action and investigate it immediately. I think that recently we had a report here, one man, about EFCC investigating Attorney General's office, that some accountant in his office doing some shady deals, and they are looting public fund there. So if EFCC is really investigating that case, as we had some few weeks ago, I think this should be an additional responsibility for them to take up as well. So, but the problem with Nigeria,
I think they've reported this one to the ICPC, which is headed by a Yoruba man, because reporting Abubakar Malami to EFCC is not even worth the paper you're writing the petition on.
Okay, so let's see what ICPC is going to do. But the problem with that country and the system is that something like this, we just had it, and that is how that's going to be the end of it. The outcome of it. Who is that?
Sorry, it's me. I clicked on something here. Sorry, hold on. Hold on, let me come out of the screen.
Okay. I think it's better.
Otherwise, let me.
Okay. So, but the problem with that country is that, yes, we heard of this problem now, and that's going to be the end of it. What is the outcome of investigation? We are not going to hear it. So it's sad that we have a system that doesn't run well. It's a corruption-driven system, and the media in that country is compromised. They compromise their position. This is what they ought to investigate and bring to our notice and follow it up to the concluding end. If we have a functioning media in that country, press that function well, now they have brought it to our notice, they need follow-up, and then bring it, let us know the end of it. But it is just a flash story that we hear. After that, That is it. That's the end of it. How it ended, we won't know, and it will be swept away just easily like that. So it's a corrupt driven system, and that
For
is the way
all
it
of the
is.
allegations that has been leveled against this Abubakar Malami, I mean, you remember we played severally the expose by Sahara reporters when they went around the country just filming and documenting where this guy was building properties after properties. He, a government functionary, and remember this narrative of that $500 million that he was going to purloin with Nedunwoko, claiming that they did some parties recovery money something, and they just took $500 million from the Nigerian coffers just like that. So stories after stories after stories, and this guy continues to walk away.
We have to understand one fact that Abubakar Malami is stronger in that country than any other person.
Yes, he's the strongest. I think it's stronger than Buhari even because when he speaks on the news, even he says my administration. He often says that.
Yeah, so that guy is stronger than any other person. EFCC that can investigate any corrupt practices in government service and agency is under him now. EFCC is reporting. They're reporting to Malami. So, and Malami, by the virtue of the Constitution, can even investigate the president if he really want to work hard. If the president have violated the Constitution, as the manager of the Constitution, he can put the president on trial. So Malami cannot be investigated by anybody except the president, except he overstep his bound and the president set up a presidential investigation, presidential backed investigating team against him, just like the one they did to the one before him, Magu, or what is his name? Magu, something Magu.
Ibrahim.
Yeah. So except the president set up an investigating team to probe him. That is the only thing that can take him out. But other than that, the way it is structured now, Malami being the head of EFCC is responsible to him. So who is that EFCC guy that will investigate him? Particularly the head of EFCC is from the same town with him. He is the one that was, according to information, he was instrumental to the appointment of that guy to the position of EFCC chairman, and they are from the same state. So we are seeing it clearly that he cannot be investigated. And Malami is a very close ally to the president. He has been the attorney of
CPC. Even when Buhari was just eating tuwo with water.
It's a close ally. They have been together for a long time, maybe for over 30 years or more than that. So he has been his personal lawyer, and they went together to form the CPC. And, so I don't know. So it's just that let's just leave it like that. They have 2 years more to live. And it's left for Nigerian people to stand up and vote these people out. If they don't vote them out, forget about it. It's not going to get better. Yeah.
All right. Thank you, Ajanle Koko. Stay with us. Let's go on to Pansat, who joins us. So, Pansat, good to have you. And let me take you quickly to the church space, or business center space, or what is it even space? Failure to pay tithe is criminal. Punishable attracts courses. One of the leading pastors in Nigeria, but you can substitute his name with any and every other pastor. The same narrative. The church space in Nigeria, essentially an assault on the wallet of the gullibles. What are you making then of that space, Pansat?
I say hello to Ajanle Koko, truth to power, one man. Yeah, the church, obviously, it's a
What's up, Pansa?
All right, bro.
Long time.
I know, but I listen to you. I listen to you
Have you
almost every
back,
day.
man.
Yeah, all right. Everything is good.
All right.
And so to the point, the church is a big space. There are a lot of churches, and they all don't do the same thing. Obviously, social media has corrupted so many institutions, and the church is not an exception. There are small churches who are doing their job, giving hope. The country is hopeless. The big churches, obviously, they're businesses, and they have to do whatever many big businesses do, unfortunately. But there are a lot of fine churches and mosques who preach the tenet, who believe, and who do their thing. But like everything in our country, we learn the bad things first. What other countries, like in the United States, where these big mega churches corrupt the tenants and make money and rip off the gullible. So, yeah, I concur with that article. I glanced at it. But we can't paint it with a wide brush. Obviously, the churches must play a role in society. We're not going to throw it away. It's just like forums like this. We'll talk about things that are going to make the society better. By the way, what do you think about that yourself? What's your opinion on that?
No, I think it's a scam, the totality of it. I call it Jesus Christ PLC and In the Name of the Lord Limited. I think it's such an, but it's a crude and a rudimentary sort of scam. So easy to see through that I wonder why people are not seeing through it. But then when you look at the Nigerian landscape, the people are vested upon so heavily. The pain of the Nigerian space is so grueling that it confounds the average mind, and they look beyond themselves for solutions that are beyond their capacity. So they look for a spiritual solution. So they end up in these spaces only to be exploited even the more. It's a scam. It's a crime against humanity. What is going on in the Nigerian churches? That is my view. But Pansat, let me take you now, still within the Nigerian space and still within politics and still within the people being vested upon. You can abandon and throw in the bin the PDP and the APC. Nigerians clamoring for a third force that will rhyme with their wants and speak to their needs. KWAKWANSO, Udenwa, Igbenedion, Utomi, JEGA, they form a party, but is this the third force that we're looking for, Pansat?
It could be. It's the work that needs to be done to get a third party, a third force, not just in Nigeria, in any country. It's quite an enormous Herculean task. But those names you mentioned, they're old boys. They've been in this for a long time. If anybody can do it, they probably can. But I doubt it, because it's a structural problem that we have in Nigeria. It's not just that the parties are rotten and have no ideologies. That's true. But on the other hand, the structure, well, we are, in fact, a military, quasi-military system. It's backed by force. So it depends how many divisions do you have if you go to set up another party. Do you have a means to defend it? Obviously not. So I was listening to your show a couple of days ago, and I agreed with somebody who was projecting that it takes time to put things like that in play. Okay, so like to have another party right now is going to be almost impossible. But if Nigerians want a third party, they have to start working on it now for the next 4 or 5 years. So we normally don't think that way. But what I do believe, though, that we have time now to try to choose the lesser evil, if it's going to be PDP or APC, and start exposing it. If there's a name mentioned from OB, whoever is running, be able to vet them out, let everybody know what they have. And then we in the diaspora and those in Nigeria, we could have a concerted effort to just blast the media with the best thing for the country, because this is pivotal. This 2023, we get it right, or
What do you see playing out in that space? What is your projection for 2023, and who do you see ultimately sitting on that seat?
okay, it's quite complex. That there are a lot of things that have to happen before we know. So right now, they're trying to select who their nominees are going to be. So a lot is going to depend on who was chosen in that at this level right here where we are. So the way I see it playing out, they're trading. They're trading. What's that saying? The horseshoe. They're just trading. Horse trading, or whatever that thing is. So there's regional issues there. That's geographic, north, south. I believe the APC have decided to go ahead with their convention sometime in March, right? Am I correct?
You are.
Yeah, something like that. So they changed their mind. So once all that's sorted out, we're gonna see if the country is in the spirit of saying, you know what, let's give this thing to the South now. If that happens, then we can then begin to look at, because we have so many good candidates from the South of Nigeria. And a couple of days ago, somebody also said on your forum, they're mentioning names. There are some people that could come from the Yoruba, and it wouldn't matter. That will come from the Southeast, South, and they will be, you could just tell they're not going to go paving the roads that goes to their compound. They're going to be big enough to try to incorporate that country and reverse a lot of the things that's dividing us, and to bring the country together. They'll be that big. And we always put down, if, for example, Showere, I know it's not your favorite candidate, but you have to understand that once a mantle is passed on to somebody like that, he changes. He takes almost a divine nature. Showere is one of the people that could bring the country together. Is he a saint and knows everything? No, he doesn't. But we know that he's educated. We know that he's detribalized. We know that he means well. He's against corruption more than any other human being that I know. He can embrace everybody and anybody. And then with the help of the young people, that we have so many youth in that country. So it has to be something like that. When you talk about a revolution, that will be revolutionary for the country to say, you know what, we have to get it right this time. Somebody like Showere can raise the money by social media. Like right now, you don't think he has any money. It's like Obama's situation. Once the primaries were held and Obama did very well against Hillary in Iowa, he raised the money fast on social media. And then the staunch oligarchs in this country started looking, oh, this is a possibility. And then he took a new aura. So that's what's going to happen in Nigeria. Right now, it's premature, everything we're seeing going on. So it just depends on which way the current flows. If it flows properly, we're going to get a young president this time. It's not going to be any of the names that we've been binding about, like what's his name? The former Lagos governor. Tinubu. It's not going to be him, obviously. It's not going to be him. But he deserves the respect and the recognition that he's enjoying right now. But people like Dele Momodu, Showere, and some others in the country who are young, they're going to have to step up there and get this country back to the rightful citizens and try to stop the madness. There's a lot of people in diaspora. We don't know what to do right now. It's like we're confused, but at some point, we're going to have to, it's not going to be like 2015 or 19 where they didn't have any debates. Okay, I mean, you couldn't ask Buhari any questions. He couldn't make appearance. It's not going to be like that this time. Anybody who's going to run, sure, if any of them, these old cats come out and they could actually bring a program, health, education, cohesion, patriotism, you know, and how to deal with world affairs and everything that's happening in Nigeria. If anybody comes out like that, I will support him. I will campaign for him. Because this time we have to get it right.
All right, thank you, Pansat. And to the electoral bill, yea or nay, will he, won't he? We're still at that space. Buhari playing hard to get regarding free and fair politics in Nigeria. So, what are you then making then of this, the reluctance of the Aboki to sign the dams bill?
Well, if there's anything that we all know about President Buhari is that he is a very stubborn person, just stubborn to be stubborn. If he's indicated that he was never going to sign it, he won't sign it because that would then break his record, right? So, and whatever he signs, I haven't actually looked at that bill to read what's through there. I understand that it's been amended a little bit so he could sign it. Whatever he signs.
At the heart of the bill are two elements. One, Buhari found a problem with. The other one is essentially for the Nigerian space. So the bill is saying essentially facilitating for the electronic transmission of election results. So essentially, when the elections take place, as you vote, your vote automatically is cast via the cloud through a portal that records your vote. So everybody can see in real time how the voting is going. So there's no room then for all those ballot snatching and changing of results because everything is captured digitally at the moment and transmitted to a central server. So that one is for the people. But also in that bill was that the primaries should be done by direct primaries, which is to say that every member gets to cast a vote to select the candidate. What obtains traditionally at the moment is a delegate system where delegates select candidates on behalf of the people. So it was that direct primaries that Buhari said he had a problem with, which the assembly has taken back and expunged from that bill so that for him now to sign. So they've removed the clause that he claimed to have a problem with, but he's still showing reluctance to sign it. And a lot of people are of the thought that he does not want that free and fair election because he knows for certain that he would lose and his party would lose.
Exactly. And who would have problems with either one of those clauses? But his representative, when I was going through the papers this morning, indicated that he will be signing any minute now. Well, we'll see if he does, fine. But nothing he does is going to indicate that he's not for rigging of elections, because he's claimed to be a victim of rigged elections the 3 or 4 times that he ran prior to winning. So a true patriot would then use the opportunity to do the right thing here. It's like pulling teeth to get him to do the right thing. If they went back and removed the second clause that you mentioned about direct primaries and all that, then why not just sign it if all left?
This is the question,
Right.
So that you see what is going on. We will never escape these people in that country. We need something seismic to rescue us. If we are going to be going through this drip, begging somebody to do the right thing, we will just be 100 years from now, we will still be talking about these same things.
Exactly.
We need a real potent moment, because what we have in this in situation is not it, and there is no way out. When we are just saying somebody to sign a bill just for elections to be transparent, and he's been showing reluctance for 6-7 years, so that tells you then he doesn't want a transparent election. So why does he not want it to continue to loot and vest up? We are never going to escape these people. I cannot see how we can.
It's astonishing because you could accuse the Nigerian National Assembly of all kinds of things, but you have a lot of learned people in that institution, and they crafted. You have Northerners there, you have Westerners, you have Southerners there, and they came up and they worked very hard to for a change, do something proper, which is to upgrade this particular bill. And he's been fighting them all year, the entirety of a year ago, 2 years ago, and they came up with something, and everybody's been telling them to sign it. And still, we have to go through all this. Collection of results in Nigeria is a joke. That's where the fraud takes place. After voting, even the soldiers transmit whatever result they want. So for somebody who's been a victim of this particular fraud from he's been running, he would try to leave a legacy of solving that particular problem. So that's why we have to pick a young, modern president this time in 2023.
Name a name for that space. Young, modern. Name a name. Who would be that person?
Now, I would use a caveat, which is to say there are so many, but they have to come up with their policy on education, their policy on cohesion, policy of all kinds of things for me to actually name a name. I know that Showore, as far as
I was
as
hoping
far
you
as
wouldn't, but you
no,
have.
no, you have to understand that even if one of the, like Buhari, if he does just one good thing, that country will be in a better place. Do you understand? He's done zero. So we're not gonna get a Jeffersonian president overnight. That's true. But when it comes to doggedness, fighting, a patriot, sure, it's one good candidate, believe it or not. Nobody that you know of, including the president of the United States, if you just look at them as an ordinary man fighting the system, they have no balls because the system is so big. So, somebody like Showore has been insulted and beat up, but he could express himself. He loves the country. He loves his fellow citizens. It's not easy just being detribalized. I know he's detribalized. Okay? So he's made a lot of mistakes, obviously, but who amongst us hasn't made any mistake? But he doesn't have to be too good, excellent, because compare him to his rivals. Who else is better than he is? This guy is put in a city arrest. Basically, he can't leave Abuja. Yet he's going out there trying to make the country better, publishing his magazine and doing everything else. I mean, people like Macron and others in foreign countries are not better than him. It's just that we have no, we have no respect for our own. The prophet is, I forgot what the Bible quote on that. The prophet
without
is not,
honor in his own home.
in his right. Yeah. He's not perfect, obviously, but he can do the job to bring us closer. Like I used to, as a matter of fact, to him, I used to write him a letter when he was publishing all kinds of things against Jonathan. Okay, I left him voice messages. I was trying to let him know that, look, you're not gonna get there overnight. We have a civilian.
I've had a clash with that guy before. There was a time, this was years ago, I said he was suffering from a brain fade, and that seemed to upset him somewhat, and he came after me. So we had a little bit of a spat, that yam head from Ondo.
Yeah, it's easy to get him upset, obviously.
Yes,
he's
a prickly guy.
You're no different, by the way.
And I wasn't even expecting a response from him, because I'm just some random idiot just poking at him, and he responded. I thought I'd look at this guy.
No. So it's gonna take all of us. We're gonna have to. His strength has to be us. He's not able to fight the system alone, but he's been doing that. Unfortunately, the youth, the Nigerians, we have to make sure that one of ours went in there. Somebody like Showore would challenge all the problems we're having, including from Britain, your country, where you are over there, because I watch this show almost every day. Both shows.
What do you mean almost? What makes you skip days? What's going on?
But so we the problems we're having. You guys never mention the foreign aspect of our problems, which comes from out here, United States, Britain, and some other satellite countries. That's what our problem is. Sure, he could take care toe to toe because he abhors everyone. He doesn't like anybody. committing fraud. All right. So that for a long time, that was his focus. He was just against fraud in government. Okay. That upsets him more than anything else. But the killings, that's another thing I left him on his voicemail, was about it. You got to be concerned about terrorism and the loss of life in Nigeria. And but now he's, you know, whenever everybody talks about his sacrifice to the country, here's one thing they leave out. His brother was killed, cold-bloodedly killed to get to him, obviously. So nobody mentions that. And that was just last year. I saw him going through quite an ordeal. Not only is he under city arrest, but he's sacrificed his family.
And Pansat, he could not even travel to go and bury his brother, to go and pay his last respect to him. You see how wicked that useless country they call Nigeria is?
It is. And there was no outcry, and he doesn't mention it. So I think he's good now. There are so many others. Nigeria is blessed with a lot of people who could go up there and do the job. Okay, and then I'll give you time to go ahead.
All right. Thank you, Pansat. So, because this is usually a shorter session in the afternoon, so with your permission, we go on to Truth to Power and sample his opinion, and we take him back to the starting point, which is the pastorpreneurs now invoking the gods to attack you if you don't part with money. What is armed robbery, if not that? Truth to Power.
Hello, good afternoon. Good afternoon, man. Good afternoon, Pansat. Good afternoon, the might called Ajanle Gogo. I greet you all. Yeah. So I think it's really a sorry situation that the people who are already downtrodden, the people who are already feeling the pinch, they get to be bamboozled. To part away with their little pennies and their little money. But having said that, I do understand that I'm a Christian myself, and I hold dear to the tenets of scriptures, but not at the expense of poor people, not at the expense of people who barely feed from hand to mouth, and the idea that the all merciful God requires that we, either by hook or by crook, that we pay a tenth of what we earn to Him. I think it goes against the grain of everything the scripture talks about. So first and foremost, I do believe in giving, but giving out under duress.
If I said 80% of Nigerian churches are criminal organizations, what would your response be to that? They are criminal organizations, 80%, if not 90%.
I wouldn't go as far as that statistics, but I do know that a great deal of religious organizations, generally, the church.
Do you think they preach prosperity more than salvation in Nigerian churches?
Yeah, I think if you take a sample round, I think there is this craze over the last few years in that direction. So yeah, I would say that that's the buzzword now that we find almost in most churches, especially most big churches these days. So it's sad. It's really sad. But like Pansat said earlier on, that does not by any means mean that we want to tie every church or every religious organization with the same brush. But when we find big ones like the one you're talking about, when we find preachers who come out and say that people should get criminalized, people should get curses rained on them, or they're inviting curses inadvertently, I don't think that's the way of Christ. I don't think that encapsulates the very tenets of what Christ came to do. So it runs counter to what they say, the overarching theme of the message of Christ. And it's really a shame that instead of, because this is how I see the church. The church is supposed to be the pillar of truth and bring succor and redress the pains of many. And like you said, as a charity or charitable organization. But how many churches do we really see go out of their way to reach out to people sincerely? I'm not talking about people who just do these things for stunts or for effects or for social media. People who really are concerned about the congregation or the people as much as they are concerned about the country. So it's personally, when I read that, when I saw your headline, I had to go and read the article myself in Sarah Reporters, and I don't like. However, the context.
Let me play a game with you, Truth to Power. The game is called Pastor or Fraudster. That is the game, Pastor or Fraudster. So the rules already in the title. So I'll give you a name, and then you tell me if it's a pastor or a fraudster. So let's start with Johnson Suleiman, pastor or fraudster.
I do not know him personally.
Well, no, you don't know any of them personally.
Yes,
we all know them publicly.
And I don't.
Look at that. You are running already. Touch not my anointed, Abby. Touch not my
Truth
anointed.
to power.
Hey, look
Truth
at that.
to power.
You know, see,
power.
Look at that.
Truth to power. Be courageous now. That guy is a fraudster. Somebody can say, raise up your phone.
Courses now.
Raise up your phone and you will get a lot. What does that tell you?
No, I have not. See, some of these things that people say, I don't take the. You see, because one man actually read this, brought out this news feature. I had to go and dig deep and see for myself. So very many times when these things come up, I do not take my time to go and hear from the horse's mouth. So I would not be able to say in categorical terms, except I hear the preacher saying it's very
okay. Let me give you an easy one, and let's see if you run from this. Okay. Udumeje Ndeboski, pastor or fraudster?
I don't know that person.
You don't know Udumeje, the short little guy that does all this dancing around.
I don't.
He calls himself the liquid metal.
See, I don't know him. It's unfortunate because that's what I'm saying.
Go and look him up in the Bosque. You will laugh. You know.
Okay, I'll check. So when these things come up like that, that's when I go out of my way just to check on their personality. But other than that, I just leave people to their conscience, and if people want to continue to pinch on the poor masses and bamboozle them and trick them to part away with it, then I leave them to God. So yeah, but I do know that generally speaking that there are too many people out there, too many organizations out there that parade themselves to be helping the people, passing down tenets from God, leading the people to salvation, whereas they have ulterior motives and they do these things for their own personal aggrandization. So that's how I leave that one. Yeah.
All right, thank you. So, truth to power, the third force that we have been clamoring for in politics emerges, or does it? KWAKWANSO, Udenwa, Igbenedion, Utomi, JEGA, they launch a new party, but is this rinse and repeat, or is this the third force that we all are agitating for?
Okay. Yeah, I've been following that train for a while now. And I, first and foremost, I like the very idea that there is competition. That's what we really want anyway. Whether it's in economy, whether it's in politics, in every sphere of human endeavors, what really get people to be on their toes and is when they know that there are alternatives, there are competitions. And if they don't do well, they can be booted out, they can be taken out. So the very idea that it connotes, I like the fact that a third force will spring forth. But we do not just want to start doing hoorays over the fact that a third force is coming up. If it's just going to be the same old thing that we've been bedeviled with. So I start with the personality of the people, the conveners. Patu Tomi is someone that I really like and I respect so much. I may not be able to say for the character and the personality of every one of the conveners, but seeing that Patutomi is doing business with most of them, I will want to believe that it should carry the imprimatur, that cachet of something that will be really viable and that can challenge the status quo and can profile as a possible alternative for the problems, the solutions to the problems that we've been saddled with. So I like the idea. I like some of the personalities. I may not be able to say I would stick my neck out for all of the personalities, but the idea that a third force is springing up to challenge the status quo, to bring PDP, bring APC to their knees, it's a laudable idea. But again, I think in terms of the timing, because when a third force springs up, it shouldn't just spring up just for the fun of, oh, there's a third force. Is it the question would then be, is it too close to the next elections? Can it make real impact? That is yet to be seen. But I want to believe it's coming slightly late. I don't know how much they can do, how much they can rally this national movement they call the third force, how much they can rally between the length and breadth of the nation. But the very idea of it is laudable. Let's see whether they would, because what will really make it spread like wildfire is not so much going to be whether the idea of a third force is going to be the issues, the ideas, the ideologies. Oftentimes we say that our political parties, they are not known for their ideologies or their ideals. Perhaps this third force will bring something different. Perhaps they will start not just banding people or personalities, but ideas, telling us in critical, clear terms how they want to solve the problems of Nigeria. What is their solution to education, the deficit? What is the solution to the economy? What is the solution to transport? What do they have for us in terms of security? So these are the issues that might chime with the people, and that can be the rallying cry that will move from Kano to Lagos, from Ibadan to Cross River, and then before we know it, they can sell their mandate to the people. But let's see, it's barely 365 days to that time of the election. Let's see how much they can rally. I don't want to second guess anything, but we'll have to watch them and see what they bring to the table.
All right, thank you. So, will he, won't he, continues to be the question. Aboki from Daura. The electoral bill, of course, just put in place to add more transparency, much needed transparency to the Nigerian electoral space. He came in under the banner, moniker of a man of the people, an integrity man, and nothing speaks to that more than this electoral bill. But will he, won't he still? That bill has been on his table for 6 years. So what is in play then? Aboki from Daura still refuses to sign the free and fair election bill.
Yeah, thank you so much. Yeah, I think every single Nigerian, however their level of education, the very idea that our elections should be credible, be free and fair, is what everyone would welcome at this time. For one thing, the middle class, the people, the vast majority of people who would make critical decisions to sway the country in one side or the other, they oftentimes have felt let down, especially when it comes to some of the things that I think Pansat highlighted earlier on, the days of hijacking ballot boxes, the days of enabling corrupt practices in our electioneering processes. But the very idea that for once Nigeria would have the opportunity to be able to say, okay, as soon as I get to the line, have my PVC, I cast my vote, and the results come up online almost instantaneously. I think that's a very, very welcome development. And Buhari oftentimes, he's made no bones about it. Before now, he said that he wanted to leave a legacy, even though many people would take that with a pinch of salt. I believe strongly that he would sign it. I believe that he has no option than to sign it, whether he wants it from his heart of hearts, or whether his party wants it or not. I believe strongly that everything would have to force them for them to make that critical decision for us. Regarding his dilly-dallying, taking his time, I think that's more a matter of the political workings of their party. I think he is trying to weigh and see what the feelers are. Do they have more yeas for it in APC or more nays for it? And I think that is what, because there are two sides to the bill, like you said. The fact that one will cater to the needs of Nigerians, and the fact that one would ensure the bringing up of these political candidates in the first place. So I think the one that has to do with the political parties, we might not get the best of it, and that's why it had to be revamped and then retaken to the presidency, where they had to put all the other options and alternatives that Buhari said he would like to see. So I'll give that to them. I'll give that to the party. They will keep that one, but ultimately he would have to sign it because it is going to do a world of good to the electionary process for Nigerians. So the next few days will be critical. But like the media man said, I think he would ultimately sign it in line for the 2023 elections.
All right, thank you. And to the Abubakar Malami space, the Ministry of Justice, no less, they are now taking the looting to the next level. They are going to the bank and cashing now monies from government departments and putting it in Ghana Must Go bags. 104 million naira just from a grade 9 functionary. So the looting in that Ministry of Justice is just a record level, something that's never been witnessed in Nigeria before. Abubakar Malami strikes again.
Yeah, it's a shame. It's a shame that we value people of doubtful character and put them in positions in the name of allies or friends or long-standing relationships. I cannot, for the life of me, understand why that character of a person, Abubakar Malami, will be the Attorney General of the Federation, somebody who is supposed to be a byword for justice, for fairness, for truth, for everything against corruption, and that's the very person that we saddle with the responsibility of interpreting our laws for us. And it's really a shame. It's really a shame that in this day and age that Nigeria, we're really slow. We're coming to the party really late. The stage and age of digitizing everything and making sure that we reduce how much of cash that are bandied, especially in the public sector. But how be it all the efforts that the government is saying that they're trying to put in place, and somebody in the capacity of Malami, they'll be looking for other ways to cut corners. It's really a shame. And I think our institutions, they are the problems here, because if a man becomes bigger than the institution of a country, then there's a problem. We can cry all we want. The institutions are never going to be able to bring them to book. And that's where I think reforms in the way of restructuring that we've been talking about, that's where I think they'll become strengthened. If we can get somebody who would have the political will to say, okay, of course, I know that government functionaries, they enjoy immunities from time to time, but if you do something really dastardly, something that runs counter to the constitution of the country, you should be brought to the book. So it's a shame, and I just hope and pray that even if it's not this government, because I don't see them prosecuting themselves anyway, maybe subsequent governments will be bold enough and will have the balls enough to be able to look back and say, okay, some of these people, they should be brought to book. But really, it is a shame. And I can't put anything past Malami. I know we've seen many times that it's been alleged, so to say. And I want to believe that there will be elements of truth in all of those things. And the man stands for nothing but corruption. But let's see whether ICPC or AFCC will be able to come up with anything. But I doubt it. I doubt it.
Oh, all right. All right. Thank you, Truth to Power. So thank you, Truth to Power, and thank you to Pansat, and thank you to Ajan Lekoko, who has left us. So the afternoon sessions usually a short 2-hour session, which we have exceeded now. So we round it off there. But thank you for your company, gentlemen, and hopefully if you're around later on in the day, you know where we are. We are starting the sessions now around about 3:30 thereabout, not 3:30, 9:30 thereabout UK time, just to accommodate for even more of an audience, because we're trying to propel and push up the platform. So if you are about, then please join us. So we'll leave it there. Carry the conversation on in the comment section, but here I say peace.
Thank you. Have a good day.
And you too.